But here in New Mexico, where voters will head to the polls on June 7th, we're joined by four guests. New Mexico's former Republican Governor Gary Johnson, who's running for president as a Libertarian. Diane Dennis with us, former Democratic Lieutenant Governor here in New Mexico. She was Democratic Lieutenant Governor under Governor Richardson. And two New Mexican state senators, Jerry Ortiz-Pino, a Democrat, and Sue Wilson Bedford, a Republican. You wanted to get a word in, Governor Gary Johnson.
I wanted to make a pitch for the website isidewith.com. For everybody watching, get online, take this political quiz, 60 questions. At the end of the 60 questions, you get paired up with the presidential candidate most in line with your views. I tell people, get online, take this quiz, and then knock yourself out for the candidate that you pair up with. In 2012, I'd have been the next president of the United States based on what people thought. Now, 30 million people have got online and taken this quiz. Now, about 2 months ago, I take the quiz. I was having some issues with I side with and their answers, so I sided with myself 90% of the time. That's since been resolved. But the next person that I sided with, of everyone running for president, was Bernie Sanders, which in the first few seconds was what? And then in the next few seconds, okay, I get it. On the social side, on the side of, yes, crony capitalism is alive and well, on the side of dropping bombs, on the side of let's legalize marijuana, on the side of giving people choices in their lives, and like I say, the inequity that does exist in this country, we side with Bernie and I. Economics, I'm afraid we go two different directions, but like I say, just a surprise. I think everybody should get online and take this quiz.
Why is the legalization of marijuana important to you?
Well, first of all, I think it makes the world a better place. Legalization of marijuana, from a medicinal standpoint, marijuana products directly compete with legal prescription drugs, painkillers, antidepressants that statistically kill 100,000 people a year. Marijuana products haven't been documented to kill anybody. On the recreational side, I have always maintained that legalizing marijuana will lead to less overall substance abuse because it's so much safer than everything else that's out there.
Spoken by a triathlete?
Yes, spoken as an athlete, someone who hasn't had a drink of alcohol in 29 years, but I do occasionally indulge in marijuana products. I want to point out to everybody watching, the campaign in Colorado to legalize marijuana was a campaign based on marijuana is safer than alcohol. And I think everybody recognizes that.
Well, let me ask something. State Senator Sue Wilson Bedford, could you see yourself, you're a Republican candidate, maybe you'll be voting for Donald Trump, is that fair to say? Could you see yourself endorsing pot legalization?
Now we're talking about Donald Trump or pot legalization.
I think
you can answer both questions.
For me at the end of the day, but I got to work on that.
Most probably, I will vote for Donald Trump, although we have, a very high quality selection to choose. And to the marijuana issue, I can remember my father, who was a doctor many, many years ago, he's been gone for many years, said, Sue, this was after I got elected, said that marijuana was a gateway drug. And the problem with that is that the high is addictive, and that it leads to other drugs. And I understand the governor, and he and I had all kinds of consternations when he came out immediately at the end of his term about that issue.
Middle term. I did this when I was in office.
But I want our kids to get educated. I don't want them to be lethargic. I want them to go on for higher ed. I don't want them moving into other types of drugs.
Very quickly on this Kasich Cruz deal, that Kasich should fight for New Mexico. Cruz would give that up because they want to defeat Donald Trump, perhaps the man of your choosing as president. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I thought it was sophomoric, or, I thought it really demonstrated what people are upset about, that the people want to elect their candidate, and they don't want deals made. They don't want insiders choosing apparently it disenfranchised enough people in these 5 states yesterday that I think that backfired on them. And it pointed out that the people want to get in there and vote, and the person that gets the most votes should get the nomination, and then we go into a more sophisticated process.
Do you want, Diane Dennis, Bernie Sanders to drop out right now?
No, I don't. And I was a Hillary supporter in 08, and I wanted her to stay until the last minute. I want the debate to continue. And I want Senator Sanders, should he not be the nominee, I would very much hope that he would use the money that he has been able to raise to continue to bring the issues of income inequality to the forefront, and and help to elect progressive Democratic candidates who can help the president, Hillary Clinton, actually do the things that we need to do in this country. I want to say one thing about New Mexico. We always come into play somewhere. In 2000, we won New Mexico by 368 votes. We were called at the same time Florida was in the Gore-Bush. We have this funny way of bubbling up to the surface in terms of being a very important state. So not only do I not want Bernie Sanders to drop out, I want there to be a very vigorous June 7th
And
primary.
I mean, New Mexico may well look like what most of the country will soon look like. The first, I mean, after Hawaii, which was always a majority-minority state, it was New Mexico that was once a majority white, but changed. Jerry Ortiz Pino, your thought on this?
It very much is, a state that I think in the future other states will increasingly look like. We have over 55% Indian and Hispanic population, a very small African-American population, but it really is the way that the America of the future will be. I think,
we have
it's
5 seconds.
I think it's really important that Sanders stay in there. We need a vigorous debate, and he keeps the focus on the most important issues.
Well, I want to thank you all for being with us. That does it for the broadcast. The time does go quickly. To the New Mexico State Senators Jerry Ortiz Pino and Sue Wilson Bepper, thanks so much. Former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson, now Libertarian candidate for president, and Diane Dennis, former Lieutenant Governor. We're on a 100-city tour marking Democracy Now!'s 20th anniversary. I'll be in Flagstaff tonight, on Thursday in Phoenix and Tucson, Friday in Fresno, Saturday in San Mateo and Grass Valley, California, then Houston and New Orleans on Sunday.